Have you ever wondered why certain truths about men and women are ignored, dismissed, or outright condemned? Why we are told that men and women are the same, despite the evidence of nature, history, and human behavior? Schopenhauer didn't shy away from these questions. He confronted them with brutal honesty. He believed that women are governed by instinct rather than reason, that their power lies not in strength or intellect, but in manipulation, beauty, and emotional influence. He argued that love, far from being a deep connection, is simply a biological trick, a fleeting illusion designed to serve nature's purpose, not our happiness. This is just the beginning. His views remain some of the most controversial in philosophy, not because they are outdated, but because they force us to ask uncomfortable questions. Schopenhauer argued that this is because happiness is not real in the way we imagine it. It is not a destination, not a permanent state. Think about it. If everything we believe about love, relationships, and gender is based on illusion, what does that mean for the way men and women interact today? And if Schopenhauer was right, what are the consequences of ignoring these differences? There is more to this than most are willing to admit. Let's uncover it. Few aspects of Schopenhauer's philosophy are as debated, dismissed, and fiercely criticized as his views on women. His writings on the subject were unapologetic, cutting, and to many, deeply offensive. Yet despite the outrage they continued to provoke, his arguments were not made out of mere resentment. They were based on what he saw as biological and psychological truths. Schopenhauer viewed women as ruled by nature, not reason. He believed their emotions, instincts, and desires shaped their decisions far more than logic or higher thought. Unlike men, who he saw as striving toward ambition, philosophy, and intellectual achievement, women in his eyes were content with the immediate and the superficial, focused on security, social status, and fleeting pleasures, rather than grand ideals. These ideas were not formed in a vacuum. Schopenhauer lived in a time when women were largely excluded from intellectual and professional life, reinforcing his perception that they had no inclination for deep thought. His personal experiences, including a famously bitter relationship with his mother and failed romantic pursuits, likely fueled his disdain. But despite the historical context, his core argument was not about social roles. It was about nature itself. Even today, his views remain unsettling. In an era that champions equality, the suggestion that fundamental differences between men and women extend beyond culture into the realm of instinct and cognition is widely rejected. Yet Schopenhauer was not trying to be polite. He was trying to expose what he saw as reality. Whether one agrees or not, his perspective forces an uncomfortable question. Are we shaped purely by society? Or is there a deeper, biological truth we refuse to accept? Schopenhauer saw men and women as fundamentally different, not because of culture or education, but because of nature itself. In his view, men are driven by ambition, achievement, and the pursuit of greatness, while women are guided by instinct, survival, and immediate concerns. These differences are not accidental, but deeply rooted in biological necessity. Men, he argued, are built for creation, competition, and legacy. Their drive to invent, build, and conquer comes from a desire to leave a lasting mark on the world. Whether through intellectual pursuits, warfare, or artistic achievement, men seek to transcend the present, striving towards something greater than themselves. This relentless ambition, however, comes at a cost: restlessness, dissatisfaction, and an inability to find peace in simple pleasures. Women, in contrast, prioritize security over conquest, stability over ambition. Their focus, according to Schopenhauer, is not on reshaping the world, but on navigating it for survival. He believed that women, being more tied to nature, are pragmatic in their desires, seeking protection, comfort, and certainty rather than risk, struggle, or ideological pursuits. Because of this, he argued, women are often more content than men, as they do not carry the same existential burdens. This fundamental divide in values shapes everything, from relationships to societal structures. Men chase power and accomplishment, often at the expense of personal happiness. Women, attuned to survival, influence from the shadows, shaping events not through force, but through emotional and social maneuvering. For Schopenhauer, this was not a question of equality, but of different purposes. While men dream of changing the world, women ensure the world continues as it is. This distinction, whether one accepts it or not, defines the very fabric of human interaction. Schopenhauer believed that while men seek power through conquest, intellect, and dominance, women achieve influence in a far more subtle, indirect manner. He argued that women do not pursue power through force or direct control, but through persuasion, charm, and emotional leverage, weapons that are often more effective than brute strength. Unlike men, who shape the world through innovation and ambition, women, in Schopenhauer's view, shape the world by shaping men. They do not compete in open battle, but exert control through suggestion, influence, and carefully crafted illusions. Their strength does not lie in authority, but in their ability to sway the decisions of those who hold it. Beauty, in particular, is one of the most potent tools of influence. Schopenhauer saw it as a fleeting but powerful force, a tool that grants women advantages in social and romantic dynamics. But beauty alone is not enough. It is combined with emotional intuition, the ability to read others, anticipate reactions, and manipulate situations to achieve desired outcomes. This form of power is often invisible, yet it dictates the course of relationships, family structures, and even political affairs. This dynamic extends beyond personal relationships and into society itself. Historically, while men have ruled openly, women have often influenced from behind the scenes, guiding kings, shaping leaders, and controlling outcomes through carefully placed whispers rather than bold proclamations. Schopenhauer did not frame this as a weakness, but as a different form of dominance. Men build empires, but women shape the men who build them. In his eyes, power is not always about who sits on the throne. It is often about who controls the one sitting on it. Schopenhauer believed that one of the greatest differences between men and women was their relationship to time. Men, he argued, are obsessed with the future, constantly striving for long-term goals, chasing legacy, and building towards something greater. Women, on the other hand, are more attuned to the present, prioritizing immediate needs and security over abstract ambitions. To Schopenhauer, this was not a flaw, but a reflection of nature's design. Women, focused on stability and survival, tend to seek comfort, social harmony, and practical benefits. They are less likely to risk everything for a distant dream or an uncertain reward. In contrast, men sacrifice comfort, health, and even relationships in pursuit of greatness. This relentless ambition, while often destructive, is what drives progress, invention, and the shaping of history. This difference in time perception influences nearly every aspect of decision-making. In relationships, Schopenhauer saw women as naturally drawn to men who could provide immediate stability, rather than those who lived for uncertain future success. In social dynamics, he believed women focused on securing favorable conditions in the moment, rather than long-term ideological battles. Even in personal desires, he saw them as less likely to be consumed by existential worries or grand philosophical pursuits, choosing instead to engage in what brings immediate satisfaction. The question then is whether this should be seen as a weakness or a different form of intelligence. Is it wise to trade momentary pleasure for uncertain rewards? Is male ambition a virtue or merely another form of suffering? Schopenhauer did not present an answer, only the observation that men live for what could be, while women master what already is. Schopenhauer